I don't believe in coming and doing keynotes and just talking to you, make you laugh, and have you go home and say, well, what was that about? And I said, well, daycare? And bless her heart, she said, try that! Kids don't like me. Okay.
He's got out a little Kleenex, and he's wet it, and he's up against this white yacht going,
Ever been to McDonald's and seen somebody bring a small child in? Where do they want to go? They want to go into the play area, and they want to jump into the colored balls. They're having a great time. I want to give you a chance to bring some of that infectious passion of a little kid onto your job tomorrow. Good afternoon. I love what I do. Do you? Yes. I didn't hear everybody chime in on that one. All right, today we are going to talk about changing your life by being able to bring some infectious passion on the job with you. You ever been to McDonald's and seen somebody bring a small child in? Where do they want to go? They don't want to eat. They get the Happy Meal, of course, but they pull the toy out. Where do they want to go? The parents say, you go have some fun. And the kid roars like a little train engine into the balls head first. Would anybody here choose to do that at this point in their life? But I love the passion. And what are they told not to do? Don't throw the balls. What's the first thing they do? They throw the balls. Why? Because that's fun. I want to give you a chance to bring some of that infectious passion of the little kid onto your job tomorrow. There's some simple things we can do. We try to have this crazy management system where we treat everybody the same. And on my radio show, I had a great chance to interview some people in this country, people like George Foreman and Chris Reeves and whatever. And there was a guy that came through the system that really impressed me named Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy was, as some of you not know, was a football coach. And he coached the Dallas Cowboys, and he was very good at that for a while. And he had a rule. Every season, he would sit everybody down as a big group and say, all right, let me tell you what the rules are. I know it's a union shop, but I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to treat every single one of you exactly differently. Do you understand? And they go, what? Now, we do this in reality. We don't preach it, but we do it anyway. And he said, let me tell you, if your bucket is full with me, if you're carrying the load, if you're good in the community, if you're looking good on TV, you are my man. And if you're not, I can't wait to get rid of you, and I will find a way to do that. And my business partner, Chris, was an attorney, and very, very straight and very rigid and very locked into what he was doing. And I said, Chris, we're starting to burn our people out. We've got to give them a chance to get re-enthused about their work. And he said, well, that's your thing, man. You work that out. And I said, I want to have a passion survey for everybody that works here. He said, well, boy, we can't use the word passion. And I said, no, Chris, you're an attorney. They're not going to sue us. It's about having some fun. And it's not going to be about appraisals. I want to talk to our people about what they do here at the company. Give them a chance to do something else if they want to. He said, are you sure you want to do this? I said, yeah, it's going to be great. He said, all right, it's on your shoulders. Ooh, okay, Chris. And this guy came to me and said, Bill, I enjoyed being on your show. Would you like to come down and be my guest at the next event? And I said, sure, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. And so I came down. I was in the press booth. And the last speaker that day was former Prime Minister of England, Lady Thatcher. And she was really riveting. And as I was sitting there, a guard came up and tapped me on the shoulder and said, Mr. Karlson, will you come with me? And I went, but she's not, I don't have problems with large men. He's asking me. I said, okay, yes, sir, let's go. And he pulled me aside, and Mr. Lowe would like you to join Lady Thatcher for dinner. And I went, ooh, I'm starting to feel pretty good. And they go, okay. There was only one rule that he had that really worked well with the union, and that was you cannot fall asleep during training films. You cannot fall asleep during training films. That's it. If you fall asleep during training films, I can fire you on the spot because those are hugely important to the success of the football. And the players knew this. It wasn't some made-up thing. And he couldn't believe it. About halfway through the season, one of his big linemen, guy about 6'5", some trouble with drugs, a little trouble in the community, not performing like he was supposed to. Jimmy's sitting there. He fires up the thing. The things are going on. He hears this. He goes, what the? And he looks around, this big lineman's back there, mouth open, gone. Jimmy grabs a bucket of ice water, throws it on and says, get out of here, you're fired. Guy wakes up, Coach, you can't. He said, get out, you're fired. He looks for his union rep, and the union rep said, man, you can't sleep during game films. That's the rule. And the guy went, man, he was fired. Jimmy said, you think anybody fell asleep the next week at game films? He said, well, one guy did, and it was unbelievable. And the last person was Susan. She'd been with us about 4 years. Chris had hired her. I didn't know too much about her background. But she was our front office professional. She was very good at what she did. Quiet, hardworking, head down all the time, never said a word, no problems. And she comes in and sits down, and she goes, I can't tell you how good this is for everybody. Nozumi was going to quit today. She's decided to stay because of what you just did. And she goes, whew, can I be honest about how I feel? And I kind of kidded, and I said, no, you can't. And Chris's pad came down. I said, okay, please tell us, Susan, what do you think? She goes, well, all these choices, this is going to be fun. Can I go through? And I said, sure. And we went through the whole list, and it was all no interest. And we finished, and I was sitting there going, okay, well, thanks a lot. She goes, well, I want to be, oh my, Mr. Karlson, I want to be honest about how I feel right now. And I said, okay. Chris's pad starts to go back up. And I said, is there a problem? She goes, well, yeah. Why is it, Mr. Karlson, that on those lists of all the great jobs here at the company, you don't have mine even on the list? Player comes in, sits down. How you doing, coach? He said, I like this player. He's a good guy. Halfway through the films, head starts to roll back, and I go, oh, no. And he goes, and he said, what do you think I did? What do you think I did for this guy? Well, I did exactly what you do. I went, Dion, wake up. This guy named Deion Sanders, star of the football team. Wake up, Dion! And the whole team's watching. Dion goes, oh, don't fire me. He says, shh, stay awake, man. I need you. You treat people the way they perform based on what they bring to the table. This is what we really do. Treat them the way they want to be treated and reward them for productivity. These things work. So Lady Thatcher comes in, and she is remarkable. I can see why she got where she was in her life. She is completely and totally authentic. One of the strongest women I've ever seen. And I just kept saying, I can see why she's such a naturally gifted leader. And one of the people in the group had been to China and said, well, what do you think is going to happen next in China, Lady Thatcher? And she said, oh, yes, I was speaking to him last week. And I realized she was talking to the leader of China last week. And the verbiage she was just tossing out is really kind of insider information. And I went, wow. And then we were exited out, and Lady Thatcher was whisked away to someplace. We were 7 floors down. I didn't know it had that kind of stuff, but we're in the bits, and we're down there, and I start to see, okay, and the guard comes up, and they slam the big door behind us, and I'm standing there with these other people, and I see all the black limousines in line, waiting to go. I don't ride in a limousine. I don't know about you. What I've done is park my white Isuzu pickup up in the U-Park lot, $6 a day, right with the big metal black fence and the spiky points upstairs. And so I'm standing there going, this is embarrassing. And I thought, am I going to ask one of my newfound pals for a ride up? I thought that would be embarrassing. So I went to the guard and I said, hey, I got a problem. I said, none of these are for me. And he goes, oh my. I said, can I go back? And he said, no, for security reasons, Lady Thatcher has her own, and you're going to have to walk it. And I said, oh man. I said, sometimes, Susan, I'm ignorant. I apologize for this. I said, you know, I don't know what I can do to help make this up to you. And I looked over at this little form letter and I said, you know what, I can give you a raise today if you'd like one. She goes, woo-hoo, a raise. Thank you. How much? I said, I'm thinking $1 an hour, because she was already making 12. And bless her heart, she stood there and it's like this mask came over her face. And she looked me straight in the eyes. Let me tell you how I feel about $1 an hour. I'm a little less sad, Mr. Karlson, a little less sad. And I look over at Chris and his pad's back up. There's no help here. And I said, well, Susan, what would you like? He said, $4 an hour increase. And if you give it to me, I won't say what happened in here. So if you know what parking garages are like, this is a tunnel, and I'm walking up this thing, and the limos start coming by. Oh, I thought about this big, and I'm going, you know what? This is just who you are. Have some fun with it. I chose to be authentic in the moment, and these cars are going by me, and I get up to the top, and I'm very winded because I've tried to walk very fast. And I think they're all gone, and I come out, and it's cold, and I see my little white pickup truck sitting in the middle of this huge parking lot. Everybody's gone, and it's going to be about 3/4 of a mile to walk around this gate to get to my truck. I looked around and said, you know what, I'm an athlete. I can pop over that little fence there. So I started to shinny my way up, and I swung my leg over, and as I did, I realized the spike caught me right in the zipper. And I wasn't going anywhere for a second. And I started to laugh, and I thought, you know, what a way to get totally authentic. Thank you for the leveling. And then I heard this thunder coming out of the garage. And this black limo had 2 little flags on the front. And I said, you know what, this is really going to be bad. And it came up, and they slowed to make the turn. And I looked down, and I saw Lady Thatcher looking up. And what would you do? I gave her the British wave. I went... And bless her heart, she went, and they went off. And I got off the fence and got back in my little truck and said, you had a great time tonight. And I was true to who I was all the way through that. All right. So are you willing to bring infectious passion with you to the job tomorrow? We've talked about 4 things you can do. Get your goals in congruence. Match your personality to the kind of place you're working. Take the time to look at your motivated values. Do the kinds of things you actually enjoy doing by talking to your manager and shifting the day a little bit. getting a place that matches your core values so you really feel connected to the people that you're working with. Get those 4 things in order, and I challenge you that you can also look forward to work. Jumping into the balls like the little kid at McDonald's. You can't wait to get there, and you'll be sad when the day ends because you had so much fun. My name is Bill Karlson. Thank you for the chance to be of service to you today.